Alright, so I think I found an easier way for us to do this horse silhouette. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of draw him out, but we're going to do all of the detail bumps very last. So we're just going to do a basic outline first. So what you're going to do is you're going to come, remember, to the middle of the page, and remember you were going to do that M. Okay? Just make sure that the first one, remember, was a little taller. This one's going to appear a little bit bigger, so just make sure your first M is a little bit taller. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to come right off the second M, and we're going to go straight down. Okay, we're going to worry about all the details in just a little bit. Right now, we're going to get his nose. And we're going to go straight down, and you want to make sure you come not to the very bottom of the page, but you want to go almost to the bottom of the page, and we're just going to hook around. We're going to do this very basic shape. We're going to come up, and we're going to stop right at that first ear, or the second ear, the shorter ear. Now, I'm just going to slant back a neck, just like this. And then I'm going to slant back just like this. I think this is going to be easier. Then we're going to go in and fill in all of our details. So let's go ahead. Now we've got a contour line. Now we're going to fill it in. We're going to create the silhouette. Make sure your nose is big enough. You want it long. You want it almost to the bottom of the page. Not the very bottom, because remember we're going to have grass down there. So you don't want it to go all the way to the bottom. Alright, now this is just a basic little outline. This is probably how maybe a kindergartner would draw a horse. We're going to add a little more detail to this horse. So we're going to fill it in. If you wanted to leave it just like this, you can. If you're just like, oh, I just don't want to mess it up. I really like this. It looks good enough to me. You can absolutely do that. But those of you that want to do a little more detail to your horse, this is what we're going to do. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and come around. Remember, his nose was a little bit more roundy, so we're going to make the end of his nose kind of stick out some at the bottom. Do you see that little, it's almost like a little, just a small wide U right there on the end of his nose, because his nose kind of sticks out right in here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to leave a little space right here, but remember that big jaw? We're going to go ahead and do that really wide U right here. Ah, do you see how now it's starting to look more like a horse? That's that really big jaw, and then we want that little baby U here, and we want the Papa U here. Okay, everybody with me so far? All right. Now, we're going to, let's do that little bump on the back of the head, just a small one. You don't want too big of a bump, but we want that little, remember he did when we did the little study, he did have a little bump right there at his ear. Now we've got to do that eyebrow bone. Now his eyebrow bone is going to be directly across that jaw. I want you to do a slanty line just like this on the horse. You're just going to slant it, almost like if you were going to make the letter V. Now I want you to fill it in. It should be like this really wide triangle looking shape right here. Kind of round that out. It should be directly across from the jaw, the very end of the jaw. You draw a line and then you're just going to fill it in. Perfect. And then just make sure his neck is wide enough. I think that was just about all the details. And then don't forget, we're going to have to do his reins. But remember, his reins were right down in this area. All right, perfect. And then, of course, we're going to do the Tigger hoppers to create the grass. But anyway, I just thought that this would be a little bit easier. If you want to make his nose bigger, this is where you adjust him. Maybe I want his nose a little longer here. This is where you can go back and adjust some things. Okay, maybe I want his ear a little bigger. But just remember, one of these ears are taller. This one's taller. Maybe I want to bring that in some. I don't want that much of a gap in between there. All right, and then this is our horse. Just remember his neck is thicker towards his body, so I might need to bring that down some. All right, so I hope this helps. Like I said, if you just liked the very first basic horse shape that we did, if that was easier for you and you like that, you can absolutely keep that. All right.